Hello, everyone. This is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I, the Dragon, Cruel and Beautiful Rabbit Hole, King Dia, Lord Frey, Grim Clover, Internet Blood Sports, and the upcoming Jaw of the Dragon. So, I have been playing a little bit of Live a Live over the past weekend. And honestly, I say a little bit, but I actually finished two of the stories, and I'm busy getting through the third and fourth, Prehistory and Imperial Ancient China. Really enjoying the game so far. Lots of things to talk about. One of the big ones, I mean, I suppose I should talk about how I feel about the game. Honestly, like there are a lot of subjects I want to talk on. I kind of probably should have talked about like each chapter individually because they all tackle like different themes and gameplay ideas and stories. But like I do first would like to applaud Squaresoft for bringing this game over to begin with, because this is an obscure Super Famicom game that never left Japan, that a lot of people had never heard of. I myself had never seen gameplay footage of the original. It was on my list of games that I would check out, like if I ever learned Japanese or anything like that. But it seemed like it was never going to happen. But then, like out of nowhere, Square Enix brings it out of retirement and does a pretty good re-release. And especially considering this is a world where they fucked up the ActPhaser remake, the fact this remake seems to be so much more well received is very, very promising. I think they've redone the sprite work. They added voice acting, which is actually pretty good. Gameplay is good. I think they rebalanced some things. All in all, this is a pretty solid remake. Re-release remake. I actually don't know what all they changed, but yeah, it's a collection of mini JRPGs that are like kind of don't really seem to have anything to do with each other. That take place in different time periods. You have like one in the distant future, one in like Japan, in the Age of Ninjas, Edo Japan, Edo era Japan, and you have like Imperial China with like martial artists and stuff like that, like running a martial arts school. And they're very fast paced. Like they seem to follow the typical JRPG structure where you go around talk to characters and like proceed with the story. But like they go by at a lightning pace, and I feel like there's there are positives and negatives to that. For one thing, you can get through the entire campaign like very quickly in a single setting, which is very unusual for JRPGs. But the thing is, that's a good thing. You get through like all these major story beats really quickly. You really get to like appreciate and enjoy like the world and stuff like that. Like the worlds are gorgeous. The music is just stunning. I I just the combat is very simplistic, but it's enjoyable. I think that's one of the primary positives of the game. I think is that it's very easy to get into and very easy to understand. There's really not that much combat in. There is no combat in Distant Future, for example. Like the game doesn't have a lot of focus on gameplay or like combat or anything. Like it's there, it has a presence, but like it's more focused on like getting you immersed in the world. And to me, it seems like an early attempt at like I don't want to call it like a walking simulator because it's a bit better than that. It seems to be going in that direction though, being more story and like presentation focused than gameplay. And for its credit, it does so very well. I find this more enjoyable than I think other games like this. Like there's the game has a good sense of humor, it has good sprite work, it has charming moments. I am very much enjoying it, and I'm very curious as to what the other storylines are like. Everyone always says that like the ending to this game is wonderful, and I don't know if I believe that. That's kind of my thing. Like as much as I enjoy this game, I am enjoying this game. I'm not sure I would put it on my list of like best Super Nintendo RPGs. Honestly, I looking back, I kind of feel this way about every Super Nintendo RPG, but like when I first play them, I kind of think they're like outdated and don't really do a lot for me, and then kind of like warm up to them later. Like it kind of happened with uh with Final Fantasy VI, with Chrono Trigger, and I think now with Live a Live as well. I just think I don't like Super Nintendo RPGs as much as I like PS2 ones or ones made in modern years, right? Like I think all my favorite JRPGs are my favorite JRPGs are Nintendo exclusives from like the GameCube era, like like relatively obscure stuff that nobody's ever heard of. So I think I think Live a Live is entertaining. I think it does a lot of things right. I think maybe maybe I'll warm up to it more. At the moment, like I am well, I am very positive about it. Like I am very enthusiastic about it. But is it the best game ever made? Like I at this stage I will say no, but that's just my opinion at this stage. Like maybe some of the later stages will really blow me away. Maybe I went through like the worst half of the game before seeing like the good stuff with the last four chapters. But I kind of doubt it. I have an idea of what the game is and I'm enjoying it. I like the idea as a concept. Like each chapter had a protagonist designed by a different artist. How cool is that? Like I love that kind of thing. Uh, this was an interesting concept. This was an interesting idea that I really enjoy. That I really do appreciate the fact that games like this used to get made, and I do think that's the big takeaway here. We really have lost something going into the new decade, right? When games like this used to be the norm, where we used to get stuff like this, ActRaiser, like DKC, like A Link to the Past, like Super Metroid, like innovative, huge, genre-defining masterworks that like stood the test of time for like decades. Like basically what every other month back in the 90s, right? Today, we're lucky to get like a great game on that caliber every 10 years, right? Breath of the Wild was probably the last that really innovated and really pushed the bar and really did something. Like this was a game back in the JRPG heyday, right? When they were the biggest genre in the world, the ones that were like the most technically advanced. And this game, I think, really was made for that era. It is an interesting idea having all these different characters with their own storylines and gameplay mechanics and gimmicks. Like I really love that, and I personally would am very excited about getting back into the game in the future.